Hello and welcome to Three Questions with my buddy Steve O'Connor with this. Good morning, Steve. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing, Kevin?
It's living the dream, my friend. So, Steve, let's just jump right in. Tell me, is there such a thing as the number one reason that people reach out to you?
Definitely. I would say that most of the time people are frustrated with, they have a number of apps and they're not talking to each other like they should be. So there's an integration issue. They have data in one app that they need in another app, and they either have to like work with, two screens going, and it just becomes a nightmare, and people get frustrated, and eventually they're like, hey, someone needs to fix this. And that's usually where I come in and I help them kind of integrate their workspace so it all works seamlessly together.
So, Steve, when I hear things like this, my running joke is, so you're a firefighter, not the fires. Seems like it might be true.
To some extent, yeah, but that to me is, I won't say the smallest portion of my job, but it's only a portion of my job. The part of my job that I love the most, or what I do, the part of my service that I love the most, is actually helping people make their work easier. So the automation piece of it. So once you start connecting things and your apps are talking to each other, well, now you have a workflow where there are points along the way that you can automate things, and now your job is just so much easier than it was before. So you have, either less work or you can take on more clients or however you want to look at it.
But I find most of us don't understand there is ways to automate things. Like you said, you go in and someone's like, okay, let me kick open this program to get Steve's contact. Then I go to this program to get to something else. And we just don't realize, you can make them all talk. So that's kind of the first step, is just understanding that you can make them talk, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there are so many more things that you can automate nowadays that if you're just not aware of it, you're just missing on a whole different world of things that you no longer need to do manually yourself. So that's just one area that I encourage people to explore, especially because there are so many tools you can do on your own as well. But yeah, definitely look into ways that you can automate things because that can make your days a lot easier.
It was interesting. I was talking to a friend that works at a place, and their boss really loves Excel spreadsheets. Really loves Excel. And they're like, yeah, open one file. It's got like 6,000 lines on it or something. He's like,
Yeah.
there's better ways to do this. But when in doubt, we go back to what we know, right?
True. Yeah, absolutely. And truthfully, you can automate some things in spreadsheets as well. Not my preferred method, but you can do that as well. So even if people are like really stuck on a certain platform, I can kind of show them ways to make those platforms work even better for them. But ideally, you move off the spreadsheets and into something a little bit more user friendly, I would say.
Yeah, I was going to use the same expression. Now, Steve, when people hear this video, they're like, that's me. I'm doing everything Steve just said. But their next question is, geez, is this going to be costly for Steve to help me? What's the answer?
The answer is probably not as much as you think, but there's always, obviously, in any service, an initial investment up front. But what I like to point out is the work that I do usually increases your capacity to make money,
Yeah.
either increases your ability to take on clients so you can make more money that way, or the speed in which you can deliver your service so you can, line up clients back to back more quickly, or just reducing your overall costs, like the number of people that have to work on certain things because they just don't have to do those things anymore. So uh, long term, I think it's a net positive on your bottom line working with me versus thinking of it as, well, what's the initial cost? Because there's always a cost, but I think it's really an investment because long term it's going to make you money.
I find that that's true, Steve. We all get to that point where we just go, there's got to be a better way to do this. I'm spending too much time on admin work that I know can be automated. I just don't know how to automate it. And then we're frustrated because, like you said, well, I'm trying to meet new clients, but I'm spending all day on this background stuff. So that's kind of where you come in to free up that time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's one way. Yeah, like I said, there's client capacity. So if you're no longer doing admin work that you had to do before, well, now you can use that time to find clients or serve clients. So you're making more money in the end.
Makes sense. Steve, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? How can I learn more?
I'm always on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on my website, evergreengrowthsystems.com. Those are the main two ways. You can also send me an email at steve@evergreengrowthsystems.com.
Awesome. Steve, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call into the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Cool. Thanks, Kevin.